All right. Well, I think everybody here is already on the Black Feather, the Discord server, the district Discord server. So good there. Is everybody already subscribed to calendar? Or subscribed to calendar? Had some notes on there. That's national training, position description cards. So I'm gonna get out of that one. And we're talking about tonight is annual planning. And so I put together a couple of things for folks. So you have these. You want to use those as a resource?
I think I have these from last year, but I'll take them anyway.
You might,
I think they're useful. Yeah, these are awesome.
And then the other thing I did is I printed out a couple of copies of our last year's example year-end survey that we used to kind of drive some of our choices.
Right.
So what I can do, let's just look at our survey. So general idea is it's short.
Right.
There's, we try to make sure that it's real quick. And we start off with some pretty basic stuff. Were your expectations met? Were there issues? The pack fell short, and then give us an explanation why. We also have a why Cub Scouting. That helps a lot for driving what people are hoping to get out of the program. And that to me is good information. It's general information, but it kind of gives us a big picture of maybe where we want to put more effort. So when people say, we're here for family time, or we're here for community service, or we're here for leadership, that tells me okay, let's make sure we're hitting all these points reasonably well. So I think that's the why Cub Scouting, and then that stuff. Favorite activity is always a winner. They do a description. So favorite activity, and we have all the different stuff, all the special things that we did during the year. And we've got a ton of different stuff that we do, and we always get responses that I wouldn't have expected. So one of them, I don't know if we have it on here. Usually we have the popcorn sale on here as one of the things that we did, and there's always a couple of kids who say that was their favorite thing we did all year.
Right.
They just love that one. Yeah, this was a good year. We had some good stuff. We have a start, stop, continue. So what should we start doing? What should the pack stop doing? What did we do that we should continue? We talk about communication. How do we communicate? How do you prefer to hear about events? That's driven some changes for us as well. If we get, people say, hey, we didn't have this on here. Our newsletter, we've been really working on improving our newsletter this year. And so there's a lot of people probably are hearing about stuff through the newsletter now. Sir. So yeah, there's some of that stuff. We always ask does anybody have ideas for new activities? So we get, people will pitch stuff, and a lot of times we can work that out. And then it's just is there anything else you would like us to know about your experience? So it's quick 10 questions. We've been doing that for 3 or 4 years now. It's just a year-end survey.
How's your responses?
Pretty darn good. Yeah.
How do you best promote that? Because I attempted this, right?
Yeah.
One of my wood batch ticket items was to create a survey response form.
Yeah.
And I received 5 responses.
Okay.
60 families.
Yeah.
It was
so
rough.
I push it pretty hard. So we put it in the newsletter. I email everybody about it. I post it in the Discord. I talk about it at den meetings, at PAC meetings.
And maybe try and having the den leaders push it amongst their own groups too, so it's not just everybody always hearing from the Cub Master. It's hearing from different voices, like our committee chair might make the rounds, and really encourage people to go on there and get the feedback, or den leaders
Yeah.
spreading the opportunity for other people to have a voice so that it's not always coming from one person.
Right.
People stop listening to me.
People don't listen.
Early enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're like, oh god, it's Steven again. Here we go.
Yeah.
What's he squawking about?
He's just
Are
talking.
you doing it online or on Facebook?
Yeah, so this is a Google form, and yes, and I believe we have it set to be anonymous. I think we have
You
it.
gave me the option.
Yeah, given the option to be anonymous, it can be challenging. So I think there are benefits to having an anonymous survey where maybe people are willing to be more honest.
Right.
Like, you know, this is the thing that I've noticed an awful lot in wide variety of areas, but particularly in scouting. People don't want to give negative feedback because they're worried they're going to hurt somebody's feelings. And so if you give them the anonymous option, they may tell you if there's a problem, but like we'll get an anonymous thing that says, my den leader stinks. And I'm like, well, I don't know who that is. It's like, I could solve that problem.
You gotta tell me.
Yeah, so there's some of that where it's like, but so that's what we've done in the past, is just give people the option of putting their name on it. A lot of people do.
I think people responses too, right? I mean, in corporate America, I talk with, coworkers all the time about it. Like, is it really anonymous?
Yeah.
There's always that, thought in your mind too, is like, I want to provide feedback and I want to do it anonymously, but is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this
Yeah.
is Scouts, so I'm telling you, I don't have the tech
Yeah.
to tell you that it's not anonymous.
So then you compile all the answers.
Yeah, so the survey system, let me see. Yeah, maybe I can show you guys.
This is above my pay grade. As soon as you went to computer stuff, it's above me.
Yeah, so this is our thing from last year. So it looks like we got 14. So we got a handful of our names. So we got some pretty good responses.
You're not sharing the response.
What? No?
You're still
Oh,
looking
no.
at the survey.
Oh, I'm looking at it on my screen. So it'll do this automatically.
Microsoft does the same one too.
Yeah, so it basically just shows, how. So we get good responses for a lot of stuff. So what was the favorite thing? We get like a really good mix of stuff. Like a lot of people have different things that were their favorite thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, get a start, stop, continue. There's not a thing. So if somebody liked the idea for Reads Across America, more outdoor service. Communication between dens, that's been some feedback. I think you guys have been killing it on that this year. So I think that was a big win. Where their members having siblings, that's been a challenge. It's like somebody wants to go to a trail cleanup, but they got a sibling in another den, and one of them's meeting here and one of them's meeting there. So this year we worked really hard on that. Got a bunch of our den leaders together to do some joint planning.
That's a great idea, because we have that same issue. We've got multiple siblings, and
Yeah, so that's been a real help. Yeah, more parents involved, more opportunities for interaction between dens. So we get some really good stuff. So this was actually something I was going to talk about. So rank advancement ended up being during April. We kind of do 2 rank advancements, and I want to chat about that and see if that's something we want to shift, because we do one event in April where we kind of have all the kids come up and do a skit, and then we hand them their rank, their new badge of rank. But then also in May, like at the end of May, we have a hike. We do a hike to the top of the Parker Incline. And then at the top, we give them their new neckerchiefs and everything else. And it feels like we're kind of doing the same thing twice. And kind of what I would prefer, I think, for us is April, have that be just songs, skits, jokes. That's the one. Bring your grandparents, bring your whatever. Everybody shows up. It's a Cub Scout showcase. We don't hand out awards, whatever. Everything's just Cubs get up on stage and be silly. And then May is where they hike up to the top and they get all the stuff. They get the badge, they get the neckerchief. So I'm gonna pitch it. We'll see.
So along those lines, think about at the bottom, do the badge of rank,
Okay, and then get up to the top and then hand them the
and then they,
nice. Heather's here. We have to talk about it.
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
is that where you're kind of separating the two,
Yeah,
but combining them together where, rank is a huge deal.
yeah,
Where crossing over to the next rank is, it's just what you're gonna do.
yeah.
Where, it's an accomplishment.
I think it creates that confusion with if you do the badge of rank, then they're like, okay, so now I start working on the next stuff because they feel like once they get the badge, they're moved on. But it's like, no, sorry, it's April. We still have a whole other month
Yeah.
of more stuff in this same rank.
It's one of those weird transition windows within just with the way the program is. It's
Yeah, so that
hard for people who aren't involved in it to grasp it.
and even people who are, like, it can still be confusing because,
Yeah.
like, that whole idea of, well, yes, we call you lion this year, but you're not actually a lion until the end of the year when you earn the lion, and then we don't call you a lion when you're actually a lion. We call you a tiger.
I think you got the right path that what we used to do in 258 years. It's still, I think I like the May concept because we would do a change of rank at picnic.
Okay.
June, kids are out of school.
Yeah.
And 20, 30 years ago, school ended a little later, but as early as it does. But I think May is probably a good idea. And we had a bridge. It's one more thing you have to carry with you, or, goes from one up to the next, or the next supply sergeant to the next. But
Well, we
that's
do
one thing.
bridge for the AOLs.
Right.
We got to do it for everybody else.
So my son's pack, when, eons ago at this point, they would, at the very end, like April, May, whatever the last pack meeting was before school let out, they went in reverse order. They didn't go Tigers, Lions, they went AOL down.
Okay.
Well, Weeblos down because AOL's transitioned over.
Yeah.
And what they did was that, so the Weeblos would be like, okay, you're crossing over to AOL. And then when the Bears stood up, the Weeblo, they would make an announcement, hey, Weeblos, why don't you give your hat and your neckerchief to the next kid coming up? to
Yeah.
being Weeblo, like to signify the change.
Nice.
And so that kind of worked because everyone kind of understood what the process was.
Yeah, you were pat.
Yeah,
Had to do that.
that it was like more of a graduation ceremony for them.
That idea.
And they would, no, you're talking passing their own, you just give each of them, the Weeblos when they cross over, now they're AOLs.
Yeah.
So you're gonna give those to them. But when the Bears cross over, the
Mhm.
Weeblos are gonna have neck chips. that
Just
they
and
want to
Yeah.
flags to
hand
give to
kids,
the
and
next.
it would keep going down.
Like it's graduating them from the Bear, like from the Weeblo
Yeah.
to AOL to the, and so on and so forth.
I like that idea of having the kids pass. Usually, what we do is in May we have a rocket rally, so we do model rockets, and we have bins there where everybody drops their neckerchiefs and slides and hats and whatever else that they're not using, that they don't have a younger sibling or whatever who's going to use it. They drop all those off, and then we have a couple of members wash everything. We soak all the hats, and like everybody
Yeah.
cleans everything up, and then we hand it out at the hike and like a couple weeks later.
Mhm.
Because we've talked about trying to do that, but for us, as we've talked about it, it's always been having the right number of pieces together to be able to do all that in a truncated timeline of 2 or 3 weeks to get everything from those who want to donate and then supplement with what you need to supplement. That it's in stock at the scout shop and be able to have everything to give at the.
So what we've done is, and I actually just sent the email out yesterday, is we do, and it starts at blue and gold, is it kind of changed for AOL just because it's now not required for their neckerchief and slide, but they'll hand over their neckerchief and slide all ranks at the end of blue and gold. We get them ready, so then we can hand them over at advancement. So as they advance, then they get their new set. And then again, that's an opportunity for us to figure out inventory. But
that's kind of what we kind of take advantage of that too, is like that time where we're like, okay, here's how many we got.
Yeah.
And then here's our delta for these different dens, because we've got some dens that have 6 kids and some dens that have 16 kids.
Right.
So it's like
Same.
tough to know what to do. So.
Right.
So anyway, so for survey stuff, we don't have to labor all this, but like these are the results that we get out of it. It's pretty cool. Like, yeah, just we get some cool stuff. So there's some of this where we do get some decent feedback. Like we get some feedback where people are like, "Hey, you guys could work on this or whatever." So we get some of that. Somebody says Cub Scouts aren't respectful. I'm like, sorry, man, I'm doing my best here.
They're still children.
Yeah,
They're not.
We're trying.
Oh, now I'm reading it. I'm sorry.
That could apply to some adults too.
And I get it because they're not wrong. Like, there are some kids that really struggle, and so.
Well, and I think that's it too, because as leaders, we typically know what the opportunities are with each scout, but each family doesn't know what the opportunities are. Because you could have a kid that's just, has, learning opportunities, and we know them, but the other families don't, and they just see it as, well, this kid's a jerk. No, this kid's not a jerk. He's a wonderful child, but it's tough.
He's having a moment.
He's having a moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said it too.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, what I'll do, I can post all this stuff. So in the roundtable channel on the Discord, I'll post links to all this stuff because I've made blank versions, like blank PDF versions, or this one is a blank sample survey. So I'll just share links to all that stuff so everybody has access to all of that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you would mind if I stole this.
Not at all.
I mean, mine is similar to, but I think this is more refined.
Copyright protected.
Not once
I created the whole thing.
It's a fundraising opportunity. License it out.
Start an Etsy shop.
We're not doing hand cards anymore. We're doing surveys.
So this is kind of one of the presentations that we put together real quick, just to kind of run through how do I make a plan. So something that we do monthly committee meetings, and then semi-annually we do in-person committee meetings. And the big thing we do with that is we do a personal ask. So they're in person. All of us kind of in the leadership positions will go around and say, hey, I would love it if you could come to the parent committee meeting. Hey, you're a den leader. I know sometimes we see you on the monthly meetings. I would love for you to be there because I think you've got great ideas or whatever it is. And make that personal ask to get people to those. So we do one in May and we do one in November. The one in May is kind of our full year, let's map this thing out. We get detailed through the end of the calendar year. And then the one we do in November is kind of like our catch up, course correction, planning meeting. But both of those we do as potlucks. So we just find some space. Something I had not realized that I wasn't even able to go to either of them this year, which was ridiculous. But they still happened without me, which is also awesome. But we had a local assisted living facility had a big meeting space. So one of our leaders works at a different location. She was like, yeah, they've got a big meeting space and they're happy for people to use it. And it's apparently it's cool. Did you get to go to the
Yeah, it was nice. It was a real nice space. I mean, not that dissimilar from the room in there.
Yeah.
Very spacious.
And free.
Plenty of room. It was free. The thing for us too is connecting that to service opportunities to partner with that facility and not just have the meeting there, but also use it as an opportunity to get kids and their residents engaged with one another and that kind of thing. So I think the way we've talked about it, we haven't done anything beyond the meeting yet, but as an opportunity to extend the outreach and the service kind of to the community.
Yeah, find ways to kind of connect in there is always good. So, but that was great. So yeah, if anybody's looking for places to like, place where you can have an adult meeting,
Right.
it doesn't necessarily have to be as big as a spot for full pack meeting or whatever.
We've been
But that
really
was
lucky to
great.
have been able to use our chartered org, so they actually have space that we can use to do our meetings, and we have, I mean, this year both of our semi-annual and annual org at our charter.
So, yeah, we use a middle school
Yeah,
for all of our pack meetings, but a lot of times for the other ones, we want to be somewhere that feels a little different, a little smaller, because like our middle school
Right.
commentary is huge,
it's massive.
which is great when you get 60 kids running around.
Sure.
Like when you've got 12 adults who want to sit around and actually chat with each other, it's kind of crazy. So we do start, stop, continue across the board. We get really, really good ideas on that stuff. We always try to ask people for feedback on specific events. So we just did our overnight at Cave of the Winds this past weekend.
How was it?
It was cool.
Was it?
It was really cool. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It was wow.
Personally, didn't get a lot of sleep, but
Never
the
did.
whole
You
experience
just gotta
was
throw that
awesome.
out the window.
That's now in there.
What was the cost?
70 per person, 75 per person for the overnight,
That's not bad.
which that's why. So for any of those indoor overnights that we've done, that's about what you're paying for aquarium, for Shining Mountain Zoo, for Cave of the Winds. But like Cave of the Winds, just getting in there is like $35.
Right.
So like we got like a private tour, just us, after they closed. So you're paying the $35 to do that, and then you're paying like another $35 to stay there overnight.
And it wasn't just like a 30-minute like walk around tour. We were like in there for 2.5 hours plus or minus, crawling around.
That's
and
so awesome.
Yeah,
So it was
they
fun.
took us back into the undeveloped areas. And like it was cool, so it was a good experience. But that's the kind of thing, like start, stop, continue is like, how did everybody feel about that? What would we like to do for next time? Especially when we do new events, getting feedback is always really good. So we do a lot of that stuff. We have our roadmap, which is kind of what this thing is. So we have a roadmap and then a responsibility chart. So I'll kind of walk through. So this is our roadmap. So what we do is we talk about June through August is joint outdoor electives. So we have a cycling event. We do camping. I don't know if did we get fishing this summer?
Not as a pack. I think those who
Okay.
partnered with 363 and did some of the district level fishing events
Yeah,
got
we
the
did some
fishing,
different
but
stuff. Actually, I need to reach out to them because
we didn't do the fishing derby like we had done the previous year
Yeah,
as a pack.
I want to get us out to Big Lake. As a pack. I think they just opened up their stuff, so I got to reach out to them.
Council has a fishing derby, correct?
Yes,
And it's coming up in June.
I believe so. Please don't quote me because
We had one in October.
So they,
yeah,
We had quite a few scouts.
the
at that.
council has put one in.
Yeah,
and they do it through the Cabela's and everything, help sponsor it. And I don't quote me on the Cabela's, but one of the places
yeah.
sponsors part of it, and they end up with fishing rods and reels
Oh,
for
that's
the
awesome.
kids to use, and then at the end of the day, did you want to take that?
Yeah.
Some of it was through, because way back. Division of Wildlife helped out,
Yeah,
and so they were all labeled, all the stuff. But labeled so that they can promote everything.
that's awesome.
Council's doing one this year.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
We got to do the one. So Nick Kirk organized the one at Bingham Lake, and he works for Eagle Claw Fishing, and they sponsor the Bingham Lake. It's like a private lake owned by Denver Water, managed by CPW. But they have like ranger, like there's a ranger there who shows everybody how to fish, and like they run through everything. It's fantastic. So that's a good one. I'd love to see if we could get that in there as well. But so this is a lot of what we try to do is we just kind of have a roadmap for our den meetings. So we have a focus. So for October, that's kind of our outdoor one. So
each den is following basically the same roadmap.
more or less.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. That's part of what we've started doing this year is we do, I think you guys are calling it like the den leader retreat, where like all the den leaders get together and kind of consolidate on, if we all want to go take a hike, let's all go the same day so that everybody's hiking versus having some people hiking and some people at the school and some people wherever. And that helps with multi-sibling planning. But the other thing is we kind of work on this stuff. So like our November is our citizenship because that's where we do
Scouting for food and
we do scouting for food. We do our Veterans Day flag ceremonies at the assisted living facilities in town. So like we kind of focus on that. So like we kind of have a general theme for each month where they match up with the required adventures. And so that's the month where we're like, hey,
right,
if you work on the required adventure in this month, it's probably easier for everybody.
right.
Because then, we can do joint den meetings and we can do offsite stuff together. We can have one person come in and visit a couple of dens at the same time or something like
Sure.
that.
Yeah, I think that's the goal for this year is like take it beyond that and really play more on the den leader like collaboration so that if for the fitness adventure, like you can have somebody come in and focus on fitness, but it not just be one den that's organizing it. It
Right.
can be something that can apply to all the dens,
I love this.
and they
Yeah, I
can
think
make
that's
it
a great
a
idea.
a meeting that's focused on that adventure, and then everybody can work together to deliver the content necessary for each den to achieve the requirements.
Right.
Well, especially with the new required adventures, there's so much common
Yeah.
stuff
Oh, very
between
much
them.
so. Yeah.
So we've got a pretty decent map for that for our bike rodeo that we did in June, where we just have stations.
Right.
And I've got binders for each station that say, okay, when the lions show up here, these are the things that you got to show them. When the wolves show up here, here's the things. And then everybody gets a map that says, go to this place first, go to that place second. And then so everybody knows if you're in this den, you go to these places. And so it kind of works out. I need to run that up for the rest of the required adventures and for some other stuff like the cycling, the fishing, the camping and stuff like that, just so we kind of have those. So it's easier for everybody to just say like, oh, well, if we set up stations, lions only have to go to these two, AOLs go to these three, somebody goes to, some combination, but we just have everything set up and then everybody gets to do some fun stuff. Everybody gets the whole adventure done. And we can kind of pool our efforts. So that's part of the idea behind all this stuff.
So thinking about AOL,
Yeah.
since they have an abbreviated year, how does that build into that schedule? Or do you just have to, and I see February is STEM, March is fitness. So
Yeah.
fitness, is, they would have already needed to completed that.
Would have had to do that one.
So how does that fit into that?
So what we may end up doing this year is when we do our May gathering again,
Mhm.
we'll review all this and be like, hey, it would have been nice if we had fitness in February so that the
Sure.
AOLs could have done it at the same time. And we had, a couple of people, one of our den leaders works at a gym. She could have a couple of, personal trainers come in and run the kids through some calisthenics. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
let's shift it, right? Maybe that makes more sense in May.
Gotcha.
Or makes
Yeah.
more sense in February.
So just do basically what's going to work for everybody effectively.
And
Yeah.
everything is a work in progress,
All
right? So like that's part of what the what the iteration is about. It's like we just get together over and over again and say, what did we do last year that worked well? What did we do?
Start, continue.
Yeah, exactly, on all of it, including this stuff. And we've gotten closer. This one is like, this is our kind of sample calendar from a couple of years ago, where these are our pack meetings. But we've shifted some of this stuff around. So a couple of years ago, we had Pinewood Derby in January because we used to have a different event that we couldn't do anymore. And so then we were like, well, what are we going to do in January instead? So then we shifted Pinewood Derby forward. And everybody was like, too soon. We didn't have enough time to make our cars. We were busy with the holidays.
Mhm.
So now this year we shifted it back down to February. And
Right.
so like we kind of have some of that stuff where like we'll try something and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then we shift it back.
Right.
So what did we do? What was our January? Oh, shit. What did we do?
Short-term memory's not so great anymore.
That's why 2 years ago it was posted.
But yeah, so we've got some of that stuff. I think our fall family camp, this for this one was in October. We shifted it forward into September because we went into Tumbleson. We figured if we did in October at that elevation, probably be
Right.
pretty chilly by October. So we kind of, again,
We did cap.
oh, that's right, which actually we loved, and I think
Yeah.
we're gonna do that. So we did a cap day.
Yeah, we did too.
I think that was a winner for a January pack meeting special event thing.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably continue to do that. So we got all that. This is kind of so we do a pack meeting every month, and we also usually do an optional event, which is a lot of times like a weekend thing, or could be so like Veterans Day could be an evening other than our usual, pack meeting day or whatever else. We could have like our popcorn celebration is usually on a Friday night. We had charitable activities in December. Did a Rosie's Ranch that was on a weekend, I think, or that was one of those, like that was a community service thing. So we have optional events. Those could be like a field trip, could be somebody coming in, could be community service opportunities, could be just like if there's a bunch of different stuff that are kind of our optional events. So we try to do a pack meeting every month, an optional event every month, and then sometimes we end up with like a couple of extra optional events. So we end up with a pretty full calendar. So this is our responsibility matrix. So this is something that I kind of came up with. Feels like a really long time ago. Well, no. But anyway, so what we do is we have every pack meeting has one den that's primarily in charge and then one den helping. And what we've got now is we have a sign-up genius for all of these events because we've been doing this for long enough that we just duplicate the sign-up genius that says, here's all the stuff we need our volunteers to do. We need a couple people to show up early and help set up. We need a couple people to help out with snack table. We need a couple people to, do whatever for the various events. And then we just have the two dens that are managing it. They fill that out. So then they kind of fill all the volunteer roles. And then the next year, our Lion leaders have now helped with the holiday party.
Right.
So then the next year when they run it, they've seen it. And that's the idea behind that. So that's where that one came from.
Been around long enough to make iterations to it.
Yeah, and we've done some of that too, where we and I try to make sure that we don't end up with too many. Like it gets kind of tricky because so this year we had originally we had Tigers and Lions in charge of our blue and gold, I think. And that was like we were trying to do it because we were like, well, the AWOLs are going to be busy like running their own thing, but then it was like we really want that to be their event. And so it was like we were trying to like take some of the load off of them so that they could focus on their ceremony and stuff. But then it was just like
I remember Tiger here was like, what are we doing?
it's a mismatch.
Yeah.
It was a mismatch. So so we adjusted. So yeah, it's always iterating. So anyway, so yeah, we got this has worked pretty well though. I think this concept has been really good for us just because it makes it so that it doesn't feel like the same people are doing everything every time.
Yep.
And so it spreads it out. It also, one of the things that I really like is that we found some stuff. So for our holiday party, for example, we had this year, one of our den leaders for the Lion Den is from Colombia. And she had a tradition that she grew up with and she brought it and shared it. And it's a cool tradition. Like there were these cool little paper lanterns that we did, and like we turned all the lights off in the cafeteria and like lit up the paper lanterns and stuff.
That's cool.
And we had that. We also do a book exchange, and we used to do a white elephant. White elephant is misery. I don't care. I don't care what's going
And I
on.
don't care what age group
Those-
you are.
those
You
are
lose. You always lose at the white elephant.
Yes.
There's like one kid who's happy because he got the one good gift, and
Mhm.
everybody else is miserable.
Even the Yankee gift exchange, ain't that bad
Oh,
too.
jeez, it's terrible. So what we switched to books.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Everybody brings books. They can be gently used or they can be new, and we have a book exchange table where we have a whole stack of books. We have one of our leaders is a librarian at the Parker Library.
Oh, really?
My house is a no-kill shelter for books, and so we just collect books from various people.
My oldest will gladly take donations. She wants to be her own private library, just saying.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool. So,
I literally have bookshelves in almost every room in my house except for the bathrooms.
My old assistant scout executive gave me a bookshelf.
That's
in my house.
amazing.
oh my God, that's so funny.
So we do our book exchange, which is then like, oh, if you got a book you didn't like, bring that
Already
book to
have
this
it.
table where
Right,
nothing's
and then you
wrapped.
can, yeah,
Drop it off, pick it up, and we've got tons of books that kids can choose from. We do the adult book exchange. So we have, like, the adults can bring a wrapped book and trade those around too. But that was the thing that like 2 or 3 years ago, they came up with. It was awesome. It was a huge improvement. And
that's a great idea.
And
I mean,
so- so we did
that's a good idea.
so that was a good one, and we were like, all right, that's it. But now every year, I try very hard to give people ownership of the events, and I say, hey, we've got a default template. Like, we've got the way that we've been doing. And if that's what you want to do, more power to you. If you want to change it up and change the theme, or you want to try something different, or you have a different vision for it, I would support that 100%. Like, I want people to take ownership and feel like they can do whatever they feel like, because that's how we get cool new ideas for stuff that turn into the new default that everybody loves and wants to do.
The longer it's been around, the more people just step in and do it, as
Yeah.
opposed to, hey, what do I do?
Yeah. And the nice thing is too that like once you have enough people who've been around, they've seen it, they've been through it and everything, we've got pretty good documentation and stuff on most of these. So like that helps a lot. Having the sign up genius. So I have a pack sign up genius account that has all of our events on there, and we just duplicate. So I don't even have to redo anything. I just duplicate the event, change the date and the venue if I need to. All the stuff is still in there. So we had a Pinewood Derby car cutting day.
Right.
Duplicate last year's. I don't have to create it from scratch. So that's why I keep everything in the PAX sign up genius account. So whoever comes after me in the far-flung future where I'm no longer Cub Master, they can do the exact same thing and just pick it up right where we left off, and they don't have to reinvent it.
Okay.
So, I don't know what everybody else does at PAC meetings. Every PAC meeting that we do is some kind of special event. And I know I've talked with other PACs where every PAC meeting is largely the same thing. So they'll have like, they do skits and jokes, they hand out awards, they do something, but it's like the same thing every month. I know for some people that probably works great. We never did that. And I think it was just because people who ran things before I got there didn't do it. So I just like kind of kept doing it, and it's worked out really well. So we've never changed.
Yeah, like I think it's one of those things where it might be contrary to what the traditions are of having packed meetings where you hand out the awards. But when I've heard feedback from parents, like I think they think of an hour of watching each kid go through and get this pin or that loop is like terrorizing the idea of standing there through that.
absolutely.
So making it a special fun event and having den leaders just make the awards and the loops special within their den meetings
Yeah.
has
Well,
worked
then it
really
means
well
more,
for
too.
us.
I think it mean if you're doing it as a large collective, again, it's just it's for everyone. It's rambunctious,
Yeah.
takes forever.
Takes forever because
Yeah.
then everybody has to sit through every other den, and there's nothing to do.
Right.
So yeah, so this works great. But this is like, what can we do at PAC meetings? So race events, rocket launches. We do a soda bottle launch
Yep.
in July, water rocket launch, that's a hit. Like, that was really fun.
Yeah, at our Pack Olympics.
Yeah, it's
So
so
that
fun.
join night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what our joint night is, Pack Olympics.
It's like, they get a chance to build their little, water. And they have the plumbing all set up.
There you go.
Yeah.
We bought some. They were not
Yeah.
cheap, but they're
He told me about
they're
this.
bulletproof. Those things are amazing. So yeah, highly recommend if you want to buy one that'll be with your pack until the sun burns out. Those are the ones to get. Field trips. We love field trips. So taking kids somewhere else
Right.
is like as much as we possibly can. I'm organizing a museum field trip for Denver Museum of Nature and Science. I need to check in with the zoo because I know Denver Zoo said they were revamping their scouting program.
Yeah, we just booked our zoo this 2 days ago, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
They do scout nights, like they do special scouting nights.
I've heard.
Haven't been able to go,
Same.
but like I really want to go because one of my passions, and I know we talked about this, is like I want to connect with these community groups
Right.
and connect them with all the scouting units so that like everybody wants to do a scout night at the zoo or a scout night at the museum or a scout night whatever,
Right.
because you're going to get a ton of people there and they're going to be excited and it's going to be great family fun and like all this stuff. Like I want us to build that back up because I know COVID killed a ton of it. So yeah, so field trip, special visitors. So we've had Parker PD brought in canines. We've had
Parker in for
former Mayor Parker. We went and visited the
This
Parker
year,
Mayor at the town hall. We've had Douglas County Search and Rescue come in and like that was a blast. We had one of our guys is active duty Navy. He brought in their honor guard and they did a flag ceremony and talked about why is the Navy in Colorado and like that kind of stuff. Just bringing
Very valid question.
yeah, it was cool. We had a great time. And so yeah, so like the special visitors is really cool. You can
one of
find
the moms did. She's a
Not always.
chemistry teacher. Did chemistry experiments for the kids.
super cool.
Certain job.
That's true.
So seasonal celebrations, that's always a good one. Get outside, eat some food, work on shared adventures. So that's all that stuff. So I know everybody was taking pictures of this stuff. I have QR codes. If you take a picture of this, it will take you to the PDF
Perfect.
of the planning worksheets.
Perfect.
You're just gonna post it on.
I'm going to post it. I'll put it in the Discord.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'll post the link to this presentation in there and to all the other stuff. So, and then I have a link to this presentation if anybody wants this presentation because it also has some resources.
Terry, you never let him leave.
We're looking for somebody to replace him.
So, how do you feel?
So along
I'm good.
the annual plan, one of the things that should be, and troops should be looking at is when we used to do the JTEs, the units had to bring in a planning sheet showing that they can hand out to their unit, to their families, and a budget. A lot of units don't think about how important a budget is as we work through everything that you're gonna do for the year. So if you're looking at especially for your new families that are coming in September, August or September, depending on when you're gonna do your recruiting, you wanna have a budget that you can show them saying, hey, this is how our pack works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have this kind of money that comes in from popcorn sales, from, you know, whatever you do as your fundraiser. And if we don't make those numbers, then we have to ask for a pack fee. And there may be a set pack fee for some of the packs because they don't do some of the stuff. So that the understand what it's gonna cost to get into Scout.
Well, that's actually something that we're doing this year. First time is we're doing so we do our PAC annual planning meeting in May, and we're doing a financial planning meeting in April. So we're gonna get
apart. I like that.
we're gonna have a like pre-meeting to go through all this stuff and talk about like, all right, here's some proposals. Do we need to increase dues?
Right.
What do we, like, what are our things that we think we want to do? So we, instead of trying to have that discussion at the planning meeting, we can just present some options for everybody to think about and vote on, because there's a lot to go through. So if you
Yeah.
bring in a handful of options versus starting from scratch at the planning meeting where you're already trying to do so much other stuff.
Right.
So that's a new thing for this year, and I think that's a really good
Sounds
idea.
wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus group, then, rather than, 'cause everybody's gonna have their opinion about this, you'll be spinning it, going in circles.
Yeah, exactly. And there's too much. So this is one of my things that I've said a lot and will continue to say a lot is when you are running, like, you know how this is, when you're running a big pack and you're busy, there is too much stuff that you need to talk about to get it done in an hour. You gotta have other forms of communication that you can use the rest of the time. So,
It's a fact.
yeah,
I
that's
know,
where Discord
our
comes
PAC
in.
meeting- Or PAC planning meetings are 5 hours long. It's horrible.
So
It's entertaining.
is that like your
That's our
meeting?
annual, and our mid-year this year was 4 hours. We got done in 3, so it was good. But yeah, our
You
annual
do
is
food? You have food?
Chinese food. All
Okay,
food.
there you go,
We-
nice.
Well, maybe between Chinese food, pizza,
Nice.
whatever.
We did a chili cook-off. That was a big winner. We had
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
barbecue. One of our leaders.
Okay, if someone's cooking, like, invite. I am motivated by food.
So yeah,
DE's off. I'm just saying.
I want to say our
So-
in-person meetings are usually 2+
We
hours.
scheduled those for 2 hours.
Yeah, but usually like the whole first hour is kind of social time. That's one of the other things that
Yeah.
we really like with those, is that it gives us more time to chat, because our committee meetings are 1 hour.
Okay.
Like, and it doesn't matter if we're not done, we're done,
That's good.
Yeah.
because we try to respect everybody's time.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those are 1 hour.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We'll see you on,
So
you'll be at our Blue and Gold, yes?
you're getting Alberto